Okay, so in this part or this activity, we're going to be working with a percent increase. So remember, an increase is going to make our end answer a larger answer. So here we have the population in 2013 was 18,000, and we have an organization that's projecting that the population will increase 2% each year for the next 7 years. So we're going to fill out this table, and we're going to then also graph it on a bar graph. So it says in order to get our 2014, what they did is they took 2%, which is 0.02 or 0.02 of 18,000. Well, in math, of means to multiply, so that's how we have multiplication. And then 18,000 gave them the 360. They then added the original population plus the increase, and that's how they got the 18,360. So now we're going to work off of that. So we're going to take 0.02, and I keep forgetting I have to set my marker down for that. 0.02 times, well, our new population was 18,360, so we have to use the population in 2014. We're going to hit equals. Okay, so we're working with the decimal. Well, we can't have 0.2 of a person, so we'll go to the nearest whole number, which would be 367. So we're going to add 367 to this. Okay, so we'll take 367 plus our 18,360. And when we do that, we get 18,727. You know what? We're going to do this. Okay, we'll just throw a comma in there. Okay, so now we're going to take that number. So since I already have that in my calculator, the 18,727, I'm going to go ahead and take that times, our percent was a 2%, so 0.02 equals, and my calculator won't let me do that. So I have to push 0.02. So 0.02 times 18,727, and it gives me 374.5. So 374.5. We'll just go ahead and round that up to 375. Okay, if somebody else left it as 374, it's just going to slightly change our answers, but not enough to make it worth worrying about. So normally you round decimals up, and that 0.5 is going to round that to 375. So I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to do 18,727 plus 375. It equals, and I get 19,102. Okay. So now we're going to leave that in on our calculator, and we're going to take that times 2% again, so 0.02, which gives me 382.04, so that's closer to 382. So we'll add 382 to that 19,000. So 19,102 plus 382, and it gives us 19,484. So we're going to slide that in there. Something else you can do, so we'll try this on the last couple, is you can also go through, and we know we're going to have the original 100% plus a 2% increase. So if we have 100% plus a 2% increase, that gives us 102%. So instead of adding the original population back in, what we can do is, this is our original population percentage and our increase percent. We can add the percentages together. And so instead of taking it times 0.02, this was 102%, we can go two places, 1, 2. So we could punch it in as 1.02 because that 1 is representing that 100%. So we're going to try that out on this one, and I'll just prove to you that it works either way. So I'm going to leave it as 19,484, and this time I'm going to say times 1.02. And when I do that, I get a number, which I'm just going to shoot out, and we'll kind of look at this in a minute. I'm going to shift it off to the side. Okay, so I'm going to clear my calculator and go back to the other way that we did it. So 19484 times 0.02. And when I do that, notice I get 389.68. Now I'm going to add my 19,484, which was the population in 2017. Do those two match? Yep, they're exactly the same. So now if I just go through and actually round that, I would round it to 19,874. So let's see, I can probably backspace this. So it's just another method that you can go through and do. So we'll try that one again on this one. So 19,874 times my 100% plus 2% would be 1.02. Gives me 20,271.48. So we'll round that up because the 8 would round the 4 to a 5 and the 5 would round that up to a 2. So and then our last one, so we're going to do 20,272 times 1.02, which is 102%, so it's including our original. And we get this number, so I just need to round that so it would be 77. So 20,677 for our last one. Okay, so now we're going to go through and we're actually going to graph these. So they've graphed the first two. Notice that the graph is jumping every bar or every line going across is worth 2,000. So we're not going to see a large amount of increase here. So this one was 18,360. So now we're going to do 18,727. So halfway up would be 19,000. So we're going to maybe go just a little, not quite halfway. And this is hard for me to do on my smart board because it's hard to get exactly where I need it to be. Okay, and then 2016 was 19,102. So a little about halfway or a little above. This is really difficult for me to do on the smart board. And then the next one, 19,484. Once again, not all the way up to 20,000. And then the next one's 20,000. 2018 was 19,874. So not quite. And I apologize, these bars are not very good. You can see it's slowly increasing, even though my 2017 looks terrible. And then 20,272, and then 20,677, a little above that. So it should look something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, it's kind of guesstimating, and you're just seeing a slight increase between each of those bars. So in part B, you're going to go ahead and do the same concept. It's just that you're using a different percentage.